Good morning. I'm Candace Bourdain. This is Fitness and Harmony. Today we're going to do some Pilates. Pilates for, let's say, kinesthetic awareness, for you to take control and take accountability for your posture. So right here, right now, sitting wherever you are, put your legs kind of out in front of you. For a lot of us, that automatically rocks the pelvis backward, lift the pelvis up and align. So teach the abdominal muscles to pull in and pull up. So align the crown of the head over the spine over the center of the pelvic bowl. It's not really in the center. We'll bring the hands to the center of the heart and inhale up. And then exhale, reach up and over. Inhale, come up. Grow taller on both sides of the waist. Exhale, up and over to the other side. Let's do that again. Inhale up. Exhale over. So kinesthetic awareness, that just means you're noticing, inhale up, that you're moving and that you're like a chain of movements. Inhale up, grow both sides. Exhale, extend back. Inhale up, exhale to forward fold. So right away, we're feeling that. So the reason I can't go all the way forward, the reason I pause here is that I'm feeling the tug and the pull, the tug and the pull of the hamstrings along muscle down the back of the leg. And that's pulling on the back of my pelvic bowl. And for a lot of people, that rocks their pelvis backward. So best of your ability, rock the pelvis forward, feel that pull and tug. Maybe hold on and actually pull a little bit. If you had a strap, you might put it around both feet and give a little tug, creating sensory awareness so that you're responsible for the kinetic. That means movement. That's all that word means. Kinetic chain, the movement chain from actually the sole of your foot through the back of your heel, up through the calf, through the back of the leg, up through the low back, so those glutes, and then up and through the upper body. So push off the legs and roll up. Let's bring the soles of the feet to the floor now. Hold on to the sides of the thighs. Inhale. When you exhale, just practice the Pilates scoop, zipping the abdominals inward, upward. So there's a little bit of rocking backward. When you exhale, squeeze the abdominals. Do rock back a little, but mostly take the center of the belly and pull it in. Inhale, let it all out. Exhale, squeeze it all in. So I want you to imagine you have like an accordion, as you do. And you're squeezing all those little folds into the center. So every time you exhale, more and more is wrapping around the sides and pulling in, creating a fire so that we can fuel positive change in our kinesthetic awareness. Again, all that word means is that you're paying attention to how you're moving, sitting, staying. So I know we only meet here 45 minutes every once in a while. Squeeze every time you exhale. But then there's the other 23 hours a day that you're doing something else. 2 more times so that you become responsible and you discipline your mind to control the muscles. All right, come up this time. Now with a flat back, hinge back. Good. Now we'll do these cross the forearm arms, and then we'll twist left and right. All right, so the same concept now of squeezing and soaking the belly around and in, but this time without moving the spine. So kinesthetic awareness means that I'm aware when I'm moving my back and when I'm not moving my back. So the back is made up, when I say back right now, I mean the stack of vertebrae. It's made up of these vertebrae with little discs in between. And the muscles wrapping around the vertebrae move the vertebrae or hold it still. So you're responsible to discipline your mind to move the muscle or to stabilize that spine when necessary. So how do you know when to do either? Well, sometimes you have a Pilates instructor telling you. Right now, all we're doing is revolving around the axis, keeping the spine long and straight and just twisting sort of at the top. 2 more times. Come back to center and hold. Now really pull the abdominals in and then levitate one knee to tap its elbow, levitate the other knee. So the toes and the foot, remember that kinesthetic chain? The foot is really doing something too. I'm pointing the toes and the leg is long and I'm trying to create all of the muscles into a chain, so that my mind, which resides mostly up here in my skull, connects all the way down to my toes. So every once in a while in Pilates, we talk quite a bit about the toes and the feet. 2 and 1. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. Hold on to the outer edges of the ankles, and then rock the pelvis forward and back. So just that bowl moving forward and back. Of course, the rest of the body is going to swing and sway because we are one kinesthetic, whatever, chain. Everything is connected. So it doesn't matter what's ailing you, whether it's a headache or a backache or a toe ache, you're going to feel it all over your body because the body is always going to respond. All right, we're going to stay up now for a moment. I'm going to turn so I have space behind me. I'm going to try hollowing out the chest. So I'm making like a scooped out hollow space, and then I'm going to lean and roll back, curl, and up. So I'm hollowing out first, then I'm leaning back, then I'm curling, and then back up. So inhale here. Exhale, hollow, lean, curl, inhale. Exhale, curl, and come up. Inhale. Exhale, round, lean back. Inhale. Exhale, scoop. So you should almost see like a wave of abdominal tissue. When you come up, kind of crash up and under your rib cage. Anyone tries to tell you Pilates is easy? Oh boy. Just try any one of these exercises, right? What I was told when I first started teaching was any exercise you do mindlessly is easy. Any exercise you do mindfully is hard. So Pilates really, I think, is the epitome of paying attention and controlling with your mind what the muscle is doing, and then having to stay present to actually judge for yourself, am I doing that? Come all the way up. Let's come around into hands and knees so that we can move that spine around. So take the spine, or the belly, I should say, and circle it around into a circle. So the belly goes down, across, up, over. So even though this isn't like an exercise, like in the traditional sense of, well, I'm lifting a heavy weight and I'm trying to make the muscle stronger or bigger, this is an exercise in awareness. So I think that's one of the reasons some of us think that Pilates is easy. Because, well, heck, it's easy to be aware. All I have to do is pay attention, right? Now go the other way. Yeah, that's easy if you're paying attention to somebody else who's maybe a professional dancer or something. Sure, I could do that. Just like when you're singing along to your favorite song, you're like, yeah, I can sing like that. And then the song goes off and you're like, oh my gosh, who is that? I'm not that bad, am I? All right, come to a flat back. Lift one leg up with its knee bent. Then we're going to circle this leg around in the hip socket. So imagery is important for Pilates and yoga. Imagery allows your mind to construct a picture for the muscles to then recreate. It's kind of like a connect the dots. I know what a circle is, and I know, what my abdominals are, and I'm connecting the dots of painting a circle with the knee and squeezing through the abdominals. Now go the other way. So keep creating the sensory feedback loop. As my leg goes around in a quote unquote circle, the question is, what else am I feeling? Am I feeling the bones click and clack in my low back? I shouldn't. Squeeze the abdominals in more. Now leave that leg up and back behind you. Kick the heel in 2, then point the leg out 1. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, squeeze the abs, exhale. Inhale, inhale through the nose, sniff, sniff, exhale through the mouth, blow. I feel like singing We Will Rock You here. You get it? You don't want to hear me sing. 2 more. Squeeze the abdominals. Stop thinking about that song and bring this knee down. Now, whatever leg that was, push the hips over towards that side and then push your hips back. Almost like you're going to fall down onto that hip. You should feel that big stretch. Wherever your arms need to go to support you. All right, I'm going to name this class Holiday Pudge. How's that? Because I think a lot of us have already started the Pudge. That's not a nice word, Candace. I don't normally do that, but I think that would get your attention. This is fighting that holiday Pudge. Let's come back to hands and knees. Realign the spine. So take a second to picture like a pole, a straight pole that's elongating. So telescope that pole longer. Brace the lower abdominals, then lift the other leg. Now all we're going to do is circle the leg bone around. Same thing. You might be surprised that one of your legs has a lot of mobility. It goes around in whatever that is, a ball and socket. And then the other one has a sticky point. And sometimes it's the cartilage. You're just shaped that way. But a lot of times it's more the muscle and the tendons and the fascia have gotten tightened. Like if you wear, tight pantyhose and you can't move your leg because they're so tight. It's the same exact concept. Now go the other way. Sensorially, in other words, feel what's going on in the chain of muscles responsible for, yes, painting a circle and holding the spine. So more and more, use your mind to contract around the waist, the front, the side, the back, to hold the spine in place. 2 more times. All right, so lift that leg up behind you. This is where we kick the heel in 2. 1, 2. Point the toe and lengthen the leg out. 1. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Now, while you've got that rhythm going now, pay more and more attention to your low back. There are muscles there whose job is essentially really just to hold you up and be an anchor. So we're not anchored to the earth like a statue. A statue has this big base that it's anchored to. We don't have that. We're not anchored to the earth. We're anchored into our own spine. 2 more. Bring the knee down. Remember, this is where we lean the hips in that direction and then push the hips back. Hold on to that. So feel pressure right between the hip, the leg socket, and the hip. So one of the things that yoga and Pilates and this mindful exercise practice does is increase or lighten our mood. We feel better. So holiday cookies don't do that. I wish they do for a moment, just for a moment, right? And then you kind of crash again. Let's come all the way down to the belly. See, I'll flip here. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, come to the belly. Take the arms out like cactus, cacti. Squeeze the legs together. Lift the chest up off the floor so your arms are flying. Inhale, stretch the arms forward. My legs are levitating a bit too. Exhale, pull the elbows down and lift up higher. Inhale, kind of come down a little. Exhale, squeeze up a little. Inhale, lengthen. Blow out, squeezing. So long, lean, balanced muscles. This may seem like an abdominal crunch, or I guess it would be a back crunch, but it's really nothing is ever crunching. In Pilates, things are always lengthening and becoming leaner and becoming more mobile. Almost ironically, because we're doing a lot of holding. 2 more. Combine the breath with the movement. Now hold this one, so pull the elbows back. Now hold there, or you can bring your hands down if you're tired of that. Turn your leg bones out and then click your heels together. So heels go clickety-click, clickety-click, clickety-click. So our daily activities involve a lot of slouching, a lot of falling down. And I don't mean the big kind of falling, hopefully not that kind. Inhale, exhale, tighten the lower abdominals, tighten the upper back. 2 more breaths, clickety-click, and release down. Push back into child's pose. Good for you. Ooh. Two breaths here. The beauty of Pilates, aside from almost everything else I ever talk about, is that it's quick. So you don't really have that excuse. Let's come up into plank pose. Quick meaning, I could get this whole class done in 20 minutes. If you ever want me to do that, just say so. So whatever your plank is, the hands do have to be under, or the elbows have to be under the shoulder. So don't take too wide or don't go too far forward. The knees or the feet. They're the things that are really challenging you here. So push a little bit back. If you're on your feet, even if you're on your knees, push a little bit back. Make sure that you're not up over too far forward. Now, do you remember when we were seated and I said scoop the belly and round the low back? Remember that? Do that again. So scoop the belly and round just the low back and then release to a flat back. Exhale, scoop. This would be easier on the knees. Exhale, scoop. Thinking, oh, I wish I had modeled this on the knees and not been such a show off. 2 more times. It's what you get, Candace. And squeeze. All right, make your way into low lunge. So take your time now. And begin to feel the presence of a stretch begin to emerge. Your mind is in the muscle even when you're stretching. I was going to say resting. I don't know that this is necessarily resting. A lot of people, the stretches are the harder part of the class. So your mind stays in the muscle even when you're stretching. And then push your hips back. But this is the important part. It's the bottom of your pelvis, I should say the back of your hamstring, that's moving backward. That makes the stretch, not the rounding of the back. In fact, don't round your back. If you can avoid it, don't round your back. If you notice that while we're here for these 40 minutes doing Pilates exercises, there's a chance you might notice it when you're hunched over your work today, when you're hunched over that string of lights that you're trying to untangle, or the holiday cards, or whatever you've got on the list for today. So from here, point and flex this ankle, or this foot, I guess people say. Because we're about to come up and do some, what I call bar movements. Remember, we're fighting the holiday pudge. And one thing that you can do, because most of us wish we didn't eat all that. Okay, we'll put that on your list. Go ahead, put it on your list. And then almost immediately violate, that rule. Well, you can do this exercise over and over and over. See if you can circle this foot around. I want you to get a little bit of toe, foot, ankle awareness. If you can, walk around kind of without shoes once in a while. If you're allowed, wherever you are, go the other way. So that your feet get used to holding you up and that they learn how to use the inner and outer edges of your foot and how to use that instep. That instep is crucial to balance. All right, push forward. Rise up, so push this hip forward, reach the arms up and extend back. Oh boy. Right here, this pose to me is worth the price of admission. Just doing this pose is what to me it's all about. Opening up the heart, stretching out the hip flexor. Inhale, exhale. Let's make our way to the other side. So we're starting out in this low lunge. And I want to point out in low lunge, if you're not used to doing this, if you're not a practicing yogi, that although it does sort of matter that your knee is over your heel and not protruding too far in any other direction, it doesn't matter. You can walk your foot further forward. That's okay, as long as your knee doesn't go too far forward. The other thing that doesn't matter, I see people make a big deal about, is whether this hand reaches the floor and they have all this material here that won't, get all folded up nicely, just like when you're folding a fitted sheet, and it never does it right. So take your arm away, that's all right. Then do push back and stretch the skin on the back of the leg. Breathe the core. In yoga, when I talk about the core, this week I was talking about the core being the heart and who you are. But right now, today, I mean the core is like kind of the belly and that scoop. So you could always practice that scoop. It doesn't matter where you are. Nobody will notice. When you're ready, this front foot flexes and points. The more you can synchronize your breath with the movements of the body, the better you'll feel. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the middle of whatever stressful holiday situation you find yourself in. When you can synchronize your breath with movement, even if the movement is just your chest, you'll feel better. Now see if you can circle this foot around. I want to keep these feet, I'm going the other way now. I want to keep these feet healthy. I don't wear high heels, but if I did, I would make sure that I spend some time every day pulling my toes back and stretching the fascia on the bottoms of the feet and probably crackling my toes around, those kinds of things. All right, when you're ready, push forward, lift. I'm sorry, we're going to do that crescent shape. Remember, this is where we lift up and stretch up and back. I do that. I get so excited about the next little series of movements that I forget where I was. All right, so push off the floor. We're just going to come up. So come up. Just make your way any way that you like to up. If you have the ball, I should have told you that. Grab the ball. Put the ball, if you have the ball, you can use the block here or you can use nothing, between the back of the thighs. So see how my feet are like out, like turned out? I almost want to give you a little lesson on that. Just turn your legs out. That's enough for now. And try to walk your heels closer together. I don't know how close they get. Then just squeeze the ball and release. Now, if you don't have anything, right, you got to ask, you know, your holiday list. You're going to ask for one of these little balls that cost about $3 to $5. Just do the action of squeezing. Squeezing. You don't even need the ball here. Just squeeze and squeeze. Now, scoop the belly when you squeeze the back of the inner thighs. This is important, the back of the inner thighs. So I know you, and I know a lot of people, that their outer thighs are super tight and strong. Their inner thighs, and I mean the back of the hamstring, I mean all of those muscles there, are actually pretty weak. And so in the little tug of war, it pulls the leg bones out too much. Remember, pelvic floor as well. Kinesthetic chain means the feet are on the floor and they're doing something. What are your toes doing? There's knuckles in your toes. They all do things. You just hit the window. And then squeeze all the way up from the back of the heels, up through the inner thighs and up through the pelvic floor. 3, 2, now hold, squeeze, now little squeeze, 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 squeeze. So let's say you don't have the ball, you're still squeezing the back of the inner thighs together, 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 together. Keep the abdominals pulling in more and more. Almost every time you squeeze, like you're zipping up another zipper. Zip, zip, zip. How about 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we'll put the ball down. Oh dear. Oh dear, I feel that. Take a step out. So I don't know, there's 2 to 3 feet between your feet. And then we'll plie. So abs in and up, shoulders down and back, a little bit of retract, a little bit of a cervical nod. I'm going to take the arms out like I'm holding another big ball, and then just bend at the knees and come up. Bend at the knees. Now when you come up, that same feeling we just had a moment ago, there's a pull from the back of the heels up to the back of the inner thighs and up through the core. So we're balancing as best we can right now the asymmetries. Every single one of us have a good side and a bad side, whatever that means. It means some muscles are well trained and they're doing what your mind is asking. And some of your muscles are just kind of, I can do what I want. So your job in Pilates really isn't even to do a plie or to do a roll up. Your job is to connect your mind and have your muscles actually respond, you know, kind of like a well-behaved person, right? 2. We're going to come down and hold now. Are you ready for this? The knees go to the back and forward, and to the back and forward. Not really forward. You kind of squeeze and release. Squeeze, push out, and release. Now make sure you're keeping that plumb line from the head to the tailbone here. Improved physical, functional fitness here. Squeeze. When you squeeze, always, always belly to the back. 3, 2, hey, let's come up and shake the legs out. All right, so balance on one leg. Let's do that, balance on one leg, and then circle the foot around of the leg that's kind of hanging out there. We're about to get really fancy with these legs, so this might be when you kind of crawl your way over to your chair so you have something to hold on to. You have one of those things to hold on to. Circle your foot the other way. Concentrate for a moment on being still. In fact, concentrate on the pelvis being level. If your pelvis was like a bowl or a nice big coffee mug, right, it's not going to tip over. All right, stop that with the foot. Now I'm going to keep that knee semi-bent, turn this way, and take the leg out and in. This way's better. Out and in. Out. So remember the coffee mug of your pelvis? If your hands are on your hip points, bones there, you can tell whether you're tipping or not. So no tipping, right? We're just lifting the leg, not the hip. So we practice that when we're in hands and knees. This one should be a little bit easier. I'm always afraid to say easy because everybody has different abilities. And what seems easy to one person, not to the other person. Now take the leg in front of you and twist the leg out and in. Twist. My knee's out a little bit in front. Twist, 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 twist. Remember that kinesthetic chain? Watch that other leg on the floor learning. It's learning that it can hold you a very long time while this other leg is learning how to move. So we're learning mobility and stability at the same time. Now twist the leg out so that the heel, and then little lifts with the heel up and up and up. Keep the leg of the hip that's stabilizing. Keep that leg energetically charged. What I mean by that is don't sit down in it. A lot of us have had the experience of holding something and just letting it rest on that hip bone. You know, you just sort of collapse. Don't collapse. Keep growing taller and taller, as if there's like, you know, marionette strings from the heel and your head lifting you up and up. So 4, 3, 2, and 1. Are you ready for this, guys? Let's go to the other leg. Lift it up and circle the ankle around. As you just shifted from one side to the other, now circle your foot the other way. Notice if you did what I just told you not to do, and that is sort of sink. Did you just sink? And remember the pelvis, practice keeping that pelvis level now, because we're about to. Here we go. Take the leg out and down, out and down. So you're crunching this stuff over here. What's the stuff over here called? I don't know. Some sort of handle, some sort of saddlebag or something. I don't know what the term for that is. But we're crunching that stuff there because this is a no pudge holiday. Zip the abdominals in. Teach the foot on the floor to balance you so you don't have to shift, you don't have to lean, you don't have to fall. Keep making the abdominals leaner and leaner. So you're taking that stuff and lifting it up. 2 and 1. Take the leg a little in front. This is where we twist the leg bone out and in, out and in. This little move may seem like I'm not really sure why you want me to do this, Candace. So without going into a lot of arduous detail, it's just that the leg, there's muscles that rotate the leg that typically don't do this. I mean, you don't walk around doing this, right? But it does hold your body in balance and stability. And a lot of times it doesn't do it. There's one of those muscles that's asleep on the job. So this is trying to wake up that muscle so that you can balance with all of your muscles. All right, leg bone out, heel. Remember this? Little lifts with the heel. Lift. Every time you lift, belly goes in and up, in and up, in and up, in and up. Squeeze, squeeze. Even if you have to do this little dance with this other knee bending, that's okay. Just squeeze, 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 squeeze. So the heel and the head and the abs and your brain. We got a lot going on. Squeeze for 4, 3, 2, and 1. I think that's it. I think we did a good job, everyone. Let's go through a little yoga flow. Come to the front of your space. Circle up and then extend back. Come up and forward fold. Step back into downward dog, that is fingers and feet. Make 4 contact points with the earth. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. One more time, hinge into plank pose. So go forward and hold. Then we'll bring one knee forward between the thumbs, so between the hands, letting this foot come off to the side edge of the mat. Then slide your other leg back into pigeon. Anytime that I do a lot of outer hip, thigh, leg work, I almost always do this pigeon stretch. Give this 3 deep, really meaningful breaths. So we're not moving right now. We're just receiving. So we dedicated our practice today to that oppositional energy, that kinesthetic awareness, that we're responsible. We're disciplining our mind to move and hold, movement and action, holding and, doing. All right, so plug the hands down, zip the abdominals in and up, so create like that little levitation. Turn these other toes, the ones in the back, out, lift the knee, and step back to plank. Oh boy. Take the other knee forward. That was the most delicate operation you'd ever seen. And come into pigeon again. She can't see a thing. She can't see a thing. I don't know how she does this. She walks around. You'll see the camera shake and rattle. And yeah, there it is. And then she'll figure out her way around it. She's a sweetheart. All right, so slide down. Try to get the hip points evenly towards the floor. Okay, so this time, roll onto that hip. Take the leg that's behind you, swing it around. If it can, bring the foot to the floor, even crossing. Sit up tall and grab that knee and pull it into the opposite side shoulder. So pull it across your chest. Again, I really like stretching the outer hip. Now grow taller. So pull the shoulders down and lift the spine up. Inhale. Exhale. The biggest benefit, in my opinion, to Pilates practice is that it helps prevent low back pain. If I could put that in a bottle, I'd be the richest person in the world. If it could help prevent low back pain, that would be worth anything. Okay, so then move to the other side. It might be hard for you to sort of figure this out. You like flip the legs, bring the sole of the foot to the floor, but sit up tall, that's important. Grab this new knee and pull it in the opposite direction. Pull, pull, pull. Own this breath. So inhale all the way down the spine. Exhale all the way up the spine. So you're self-correcting your bad posture. I said kinesthetic awareness. All I meant was that your posture throughout your day is really fluid, but you might be surprised that you fall back into the same bad posture over and over and over. Like, for example, I always sit on this left foot. No matter where I sit down, this left foot goes up underneath me almost immediately. That wouldn't be bad, but it's always the same foot. So I have to be aware and practice more balance and own what I'm doing, my movement patterns. Unwind from that. Whoa. Roll all the way down to the back. All right, we got one more, and then we got our nice rest. So roll down. And it is, as it almost always is, the corkscrew. I think I do this a lot because I like the name of it more than I like the actual exercise. See if you can. Lift your legs up. My legs are, wow, I was just stretching. That was already enough. Maybe this is already enough. Don't feel like you have to do everything. Press the arms down, pull the shoulder blades under the back, and press those down into the floor too. Now, practice that Pilates scoop, squeeze. 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 So you may have to take a couple of breaths to prepare. Then you kind of roll the hips up off the floor, twist the hips and the legs to one side, and then lift the hips all the way up off the floor and then twist back down. So you roll a little bit in, twist the other direction, lift the hips up, and twist as you come back down. So it's in, twist, lift up, and twist down. Roll in, twist the other way, lift up, and twist down. So you do that all in one exhale. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale, twist, lift up, inhale down. All right, my corkscrew is like a little, just a little tiny corkscrew. I'm not twisting all the way up onto my shoulder blades. I typically don't say to do that. You can do it. But it takes a lot of control and a lot of practice. We can work our abs with the mind as much as by throwing the body around. If your legs are still okay with where they are and what they're doing, squeeze them together a little bit more. Remember that. Back of the inner thighs, they're usually a little bit weaker than the outer thighs. 4. I know there's a lot. 3. 2. Keep going. Don't give up yet. And 1. Hug the knees in and relax. Twist the knees to one side. Hips turn. And then bring the knees and the hips to the other side. Wow. Now that feels good. And then move into Shavasana. So take the legs and the arms flat, rolled out, and then soften. Now let everything sink down into the earth. All of your weight down so that your mind can receive. The muscles are getting stronger and longer. The body is in more harmony with itself and with the mind. All of the chemicals, all of the body systems are coming back into balance. Moment by moment now, as you release energy, as you soften, You are getting better and better. The mind is more connected. You feel the tingling of renewed energy, and the spine feels refreshed. The breath goes in easily without any effort. And the breath restores. You deserve to feel well. Blanket yourself now, an imaginary blanket of love and affection. Give to yourself the love and affection that you so often give to others. So take this imaginary blanket and pull it up around you. Maybe tuck it so that you feel warm and cared for. You are valued, you are seen, and you are heard. You matter. I want you to honor the light, the magic of life that flows. Breathe in. Breathe out. Slowly roll onto your side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Push off the floor as you open your eyes and come all the way up. When you come up, pull the shoulders onto the back, press the chest forward, squeeze the upper back muscles, but keep the chin down. Release that, come up to a tall spine. Inhale and stretch up. Exhale to lean over. Leave the arms next to the sides of the head. Inhale as you come up. Exhale to lean over. Remember, leaving the arms framing the face. Inhale as you come up. That's it. Exhale, we're all done. Fantastic. Great job, everyone.